When a woman pushes a man away at the very moment she feels drawn to him, it often has less to do with him and more to do with her fear of vulnerability. Vulnerability is exposure. It is the act of opening the heart and allowing someone else to see inside. For many women, especially when the feelings are strong and undeniable, that exposure feels overwhelming. The very attraction that makes her want to be close can also trigger the instinct to protect herself. Pushing him away becomes her shield, a way of guarding her emotions before they are fully placed in his hands. The truth is, the closer someone gets to a woman's heart, the more dangerous it feels to her. She knows that the man she desires most is also the one who holds the most power to hurt her. And that realization can make her retreat. It is not that she doesn't want him, it is that she wants him so much that the possibility of rejection, betrayal, or disappointment feels unbearable. To a woman in that state, pushing away is safer than leaning in, because leaning in requires surrender, and surrender requires trust. Fear of vulnerability also ties to control. When she pushes away, she maintains control over the situation. She keeps her emotions at arm's length, convinced that if she creates distance, she cannot be wounded as deeply. But when she truly wants a man, the very act of caring strips away that control. Her emotions take the lead, and that loss of control is frightening. By pushing him away, she is trying to slow down what feels too fast, to manage what feels too strong, to keep herself safe in the middle of emotions that threaten to overwhelm her. It is important to understand that this push is rarely a rejection of the man himself. In fact, it often reveals just how deeply he matters to her. If she felt nothing, she would not need to guard herself. Indifference doesn't require defense, but strong desire does. The push is often a mirror of her own inner conflict, wanting closeness but fearing the cost of opening up. That conflict can make her send mixed signals, pulling him in one moment and pushing him away the next. To a masculine man, this can be confusing, but the truth is simple. The push is a mask for vulnerability. This is why masculine men must remain steady in such moments. A woman's fear of vulnerability is not an invitation for chasing or convincing. It is a call for strength and patience. If he reacts with neediness, she feels confirmed in her fears. But if he remains grounded, calm, and self-assured, he proves that her heart can be safe with him. His steadiness gives her permission to lower her guard. Masculine men understand that vulnerability is a test of emotional strength, and they know that security, not pressure, is what allows a woman to lean in instead of push away. At the root, vulnerability is about risk. Every woman who has ever been hurt before carries scars that whisper warnings when she begins to care again. Those whispers can make her retreat at the very moment she longs to stay. By pushing away, she tries to protect herself from repeating the pain of the past, but often the very act of pushing away only creates the distance she secretly hopes will be closed by a man strong enough not to crumble under it. So when a woman pushes a man away while wanting him most, it is rarely a lack of attraction. It is her fear of opening a door that cannot easily be closed again. Vulnerability is terrifying, but it is also the only path to true connection. And this is why masculine men never chase in those moments. They understand the push is not rejection, but a sign of just how deeply she feels. When a woman pushes a man away, even while she desires him deeply, one of the most common reasons is that she is testing his emotional strength. Women instinctively seek security, not only physical, but emotional. And they need to know whether the man they are drawn to is steady enough to handle their intensity. By creating distance, by pulling back, or by challenging his patience, she is not always trying to reject him. She is often trying to see if he will remain firm in his frame or collapse under pressure. Masculine men understand this game well because they recognize that tests of strength are not meant to destroy them, but to reveal whether they are truly grounded. A woman may create these tests without even consciously realizing it. Her emotions guide her actions. When she feels herself falling for a man, her guard rises, and she wonders, can he handle me at my most uncertain? Can he stay steady when I'm unsure? Can he remain confident when I challenge him? These questions are not asked in words, but in behavior. The push is her way of asking, are you truly the man you appear to be, or will you waver the moment I stop making it easy for you? For a masculine man, this moment is critical. If he reacts with desperation, if he begins to chase harder, beg harder, or lose control, she learns quickly that his strength was only surface level. His emotions are too easily swayed, and that makes her feel unsafe. But if he remains composed, if he refuses to be rattled by her push, he sends a much stronger message that he is unshakable, that his stability is not dependent on her behavior, and that his masculinity is real, not performed. This is why many women push away just when the connection grows strong. It is not because they don't want the man, but because they want to be certain of him. They want to see if his attention and desire are built on true self-confidence or if they crumble at the first sign of resistance. It is a way of measuring his depth. Masculine men don't resent this, they understand it. They know that women are wired to test, to seek reassurance, and to feel the weight of a man's strength before surrendering fully to him. The danger lies in misunderstanding the test. Many men take it personally and think the push means she is rejecting them. They react with anger, neediness, or emotional collapse, but masculine men know better. They see through the surface and understand that the push is not the end, it is the beginning of trust. If he can withstand her test without losing composure, she begins to relax into his presence. She realizes that he is not just another man chasing her, he's a man who cannot be easily moved, and that recognition builds attraction on a deeper level. Emotional strength is about more than patience, it is about consistency. A man must show that his direction, his purpose, and his self-control remain intact no matter how much a woman pulls back. She wants to see if he values himself enough not to beg for her validation, and if he has enough discipline to let her come to him rather than running after her. The steadiness of a man is what allows her to feel safe enough to drop her defenses because she knows he will not break under her storm. So when a woman pushes away while desiring a man the most, she is often testing his frame, testing his strength, and testing whether his attraction is grounded in desperation or in discipline. Masculine men don't chase because they know that her push is not meant to destroy connection, but to confirm it. And by standing firm, they show her that her heart, with all its intensity, is safe in their presence. When a woman pushes a man away at the very moment she feels most connected to him, it can often be because she is overwhelmed by the intensity of her emotions. Attraction is not always gentle. It can be powerful, consuming, and even frightening. For many women, that intensity feels like losing control, and losing control can be deeply uncomfortable. The closer she feels to a man, the more vulnerable she becomes, and the more her emotions rise. The harder it becomes for her to regulate them. In those moments, the safest move she knows is to pull away, to create distance, to slow things down so she can catch her breath. Strong feelings have a way of stirring up uncertainty. A woman who wants a man deeply may not always understand why she feels so strongly or what those feelings mean for her future. Questions begin to swirl in her mind. Why do I feel this much so quickly? Can I trust this? Am I moving too fast? What if I get hurt? The emotional storm inside her is not a rejection of the man. It is a reflection of how much he affects her. The more he matters, the more overwhelming the feelings become, and the push becomes her way of regaining balance. For masculine men, it's important to recognize that this push is not a sign of weakness in her, but a natural human response to intensity. Just as a flame that burns too hot can be difficult to stand near, attraction that burns too strongly can cause someone to recoil, even if they secretly want to stay close. By pulling back, she is trying to protect herself from being consumed by emotions she doesn't yet know how to manage. This is why the paradox occurs. She pushes away at the very moment she wants him most. This retreat is not about rejecting his presence, it is about regulating her own. The masculine man who understands this does not chase after her when she retreats, nor does he take it personally. He remains steady. He allows her the space she needs, knowing that her push is not a wall, but a pause, a way for her to regain her center. His composure is what reassures her. His calmness shows her that he is not shaken by her emotional intensity, and that stability is what eventually allows her to lean back in with greater trust. When a woman feels overwhelmed, she doesn't need pressure, she needs presence. A man who reacts to her push with panic only confirms her fear that the emotions are too much, too unstable, too unsafe. But a man who remains composed, who stays aligned with his own purpose, communicates a silent message. I am not afraid of your intensity. I can handle the weight of your emotions without losing myself. That message is exactly what makes her feel safe enough to return. Intensity is powerful because it magnifies everything: desire, fear, hope, doubt. A woman who pushes away at the peak of her desire is not rejecting the connection. She is trying to make sense of emotions that feel larger than life. Masculine men don't crumble in those moments. They know that the push is temporary, that it is not the end of attraction, but the sign of how strong it really is. So when she pulls back at the very height of wanting him, it is not because she doesn't want him, it is because she does. So much so that the intensity threatens to overwhelm her. Masculine men understand this paradox and they never chase. They simply remain grounded, giving her the space to return, because they know her retreat is not a rejection, but proof of the depth of her desire. When a woman pushes a man away at the very moment she wants him most, it can often be her way of seeking clarity. Desire has a way of clouding judgment. And when emotions run strong, it becomes harder to see what is real and what is only temporary. A woman may feel deeply drawn to a man, yet at the same time, a voice inside her questions whether what she feels is safe to trust. She wonders if his intentions are genuine or if they are only fleeting. By pulling back, by creating distance, she forces the truth to reveal itself. She wants to see whether the man's interest endures, even when she is not making it easy, or if it fades the moment she stops feeding it. This push is not always an attempt to reject him, it is often a search for reassurance. A woman may think to herself, if I stop giving, will he still want me? If I create space, will he remain consistent? If I test his patience, will he prove his desire is real? The paradox is that the very act of wanting him deeply makes her cautious. She doesn't want to fall for something that isn't built on solid ground. So she pushes away to clear the fog of her emotions and see the truth of his intentions. Masculine men understand this instinct for clarity and do not confuse it with rejection. They recognize that a woman's heart craves safety, and safety comes from knowing she is desired for more than temporary passion. If a man responds to her retreat with panic, pressure, or chasing, he shows her that his attraction is reactive, not grounded. He proves her doubts correct. But if he responds with steadiness, patience, and composure, she begins to see that his interest is not fragile, it is strong, unwavering, and rooted in something deeper. The beauty of this clarity test is that it strips away illusions. Many men can appear confident when things are easy, but only a man with true masculine strength can remain calm when faced with distance. A woman who pushes away is not always hoping he will chase her. Often she is hoping he will reveal his depth through his steadiness. His refusal to panic becomes proof that his desire is not just surface attraction, but genuine respect and interest. That steadiness is what allows her to trust that she can lean in without being misled. The key here is patience. Masculine men don't demand immediate closeness when a woman seeks space. They don't pressure her into constant reassurance. They understand that clarity cannot be forced. It must unfold naturally. By allowing her room to step back, they allow her emotions to settle, and in that calm, she sees more clearly what he represents in her life. Ironically, it is his willingness to give her that space that often pulls her back toward him, because she realizes his interest is not about control, but about genuine connection. When a woman pushes a man away at the height of her desire, it is rarely because she doesn't want him. It is because she wants to know if he truly wants her. Her push is the question, his steadiness is the answer. Masculine men never take it personally because they understand her search for clarity is not meant to destroy the connection but to protect her heart. And by remaining grounded, They provide the very certainty she is seeking. So when she creates distance, it is not rejection. It is her way of discovering the truth. Masculine men don't chase in those moments because they know her push is simply the path to deeper clarity, and the man who remains steady is the man she will ultimately trust the most. When a woman pushes a man away while desiring him deeply, one of the strongest reasons is her fear of losing control. Attraction has the power to shake her foundation, to disrupt her balance, and to make her feel as though she is no longer in command of her own emotions. For many women, this loss of control is unsettling. They are used to maintaining a sense of security over their feelings, of choosing when and how to express them. But when a man stirs something powerful inside her, she feels that control slipping, and in that moment, creating distance becomes her way of regaining it. The irony is that the more she wants him, the more she fears how much influence he holds over her. She realizes that his presence affects her mood, her thoughts, her focus. She may catch herself thinking about him too much, caring about his opinion more than she expected, or feeling vulnerable in ways she cannot easily explain. That level of influence can be frightening, because it reminds her that her emotions are no longer entirely in her control. To protect herself, she pushes him away, not because she doesn't want him, but because she wants him so much that the power of it feels overwhelming. This fear of losing control often makes a woman test the balance of the connection by pushing back. She asks, will I lose myself if I give in? Will I still feel secure if I let this grow? Am I safe if I allow this attraction to take over? The push is not a rejection, but a way to slow the pace, to put the brakes on emotions that feel like they are racing ahead too quickly. It is her attempt to remind herself that she is still in command, even when her heart is moving faster than her mind. Masculine men must understand this instinct. They cannot respond with panic or pressure, because doing so only confirms her fear that she is losing control to someone who doesn't respect her boundaries. Instead, a man grounded in his masculinity remains calm. He does not beg for closeness or try to force intimacy. He respects her space, and in doing so, he communicates the most powerful message, that he does not need to control her in order to remain present. His strength lies in his steadiness, not in his pursuit. By staying composed, the masculine man allows her to see that closeness does not have to equal loss of control. He shows her that she can feel deeply without losing herself, because he is not trying to dominate her emotions. He is simply steady enough to handle them. That steadiness creates safety. And once she feels safe, her fear of losing control begins to fade, replaced by trust in his presence. This is why many women will push away just before surrendering to deeper connection. They want to know that they are not falling into something that will consume them completely. They want to know that the man they are drawn to is strong enough to handle their intensity without using it against them. The push, in this case, is a test of balance, and the man who passes is the one who refuses to chase, the one who respects the space she takes, the one who continues forward on his path without losing himself in the process. So when a woman pushes away in the middle of deep desire, it is not rejection, it is fear of surrendering too much power. Masculine men recognize this truth and do not chase. They stay grounded, calm, and certain, showing her that losing control of her heart does not mean losing control of herself. And that is why she always comes back stronger when she realizes he is the one man who cannot be shaken. When a woman pushes a man away, even while she wants him most, the reason often lies in her unhealed past experiences. Attraction has a way of awakening memories, and when a woman begins to feel deeply for someone, old wounds can resurface. Past betrayals, heartbreaks, disappointments, or even childhood conditioning can whisper to her that closeness equals danger. The very thought of allowing someone new into her heart can stir fears that history will repeat itself. So instead of leaning in, she pulls away, not because she doesn't want him, but because she is protecting herself from reliving pain she has not yet fully healed. Every scar tells a story. Perhaps she once trusted deeply and was left abandoned. Perhaps she gave her love fully and was met with betrayal. Perhaps she opened her heart in innocence and was hurt so badly that she promised herself never to feel that vulnerable again. Those experiences shape her reactions, and when a new connection begins to stir the same intensity, her defenses automatically rise. The push in this case is not a reflection of who the man is, it is a reflection of what she has endured. It is her survival mechanism, a way of shielding her heart from being broken once more. The paradox is that the stronger the desire she feels, the stronger the fear becomes. If a man matters little to her, there is no reason to push him away. But when he matters deeply, when her emotions feel undeniable, the risk feels greater. Her mind replays the past and warns her that allowing closeness could mean reliving the same hurt. So she pulls back, not because she wants distance, but because the closeness reminds her of old wounds that never fully closed. The push becomes her shield, even if it costs her the very connection she longs for. Masculine men who encounter this must learn not to take it personally. Her push is not always about him, it is about the battles she carries within herself. A man who chases harder in those moments only makes her retreat further, because chasing feels like pressure and pressure feels unsafe. The masculine man instead remains steady, calm, and patient. He does not try to fix her past, nor does he fight her defenses. He simply respects her space and continues to stand firm in his presence. That steadiness communicates what words cannot, that he is not here to repeat the harm she has known, but to provide a different experience. Healing takes time, and a woman can only heal when she feels safe. Masculine men create that safety not by pleading, but by embodying calm strength. They do not need to convince her with promises. Their actions and consistency speak louder. When she pushes away, they do not react with anger or desperation. They remain aligned with their mission, proving that they are not controlled by her distance. That grounded energy is exactly what makes her feel safe enough to slowly lower her guard. Her push, then, is a test of his patience as much as it is a reflection of her pain. She wants to know, will he respect her boundaries? Will he remain steady if she hesitates? Will he crumble if she retreats? Or will he stand firm without forcing her hand? The man who passes this test is not the one who chases relentlessly, but the one who disappears with dignity if his presence is not welcomed, and remains consistent if the connection still has space to grow. So when a woman pushes away while desiring a man most, it is often her past speaking louder than her present. Masculine men do not chase in those moments because they understand her retreat is not rejection but protection. They remain steady, knowing that if her heart is meant to open again, it will only open to the man strong enough to honor her wounds without exploiting them.